Okay, guys, so hello and welcome to this live to welcome our guests, Robin and B2. Robin is tonight collaborating with us to showcase TheCommon here in Barcelona with an stellar lineup. And yeah, he will give us some insights of the industry, which issues and advantages does TheCommon face in Belgium, why is he trying to showcase their brand here in the city. And on the other side, we have B2, one of the DJs who's playing tonight, Mitchell, managed by Robin also, so we can have both of the perspectives of how the industry works sideways, right? So yeah, please just introduce yourself, Robin.
Hey, so I'm Robin. I'm doing obviously TheCommon. I also have my own agency, Darkroom, and my talent agency, Elevenfive. And the management that I do is also behind the Darkroom agency. So basically that's what I do now. And that fills my day.
Excellent. And what about you, Mitchell?
Yes, I'm B2, Michael. Yeah, I'm the DJ, one of the headliners tonight here. He's my agent and he's a lovely companion of the industry. I'm grateful to be already here the second time working with you. And yeah, I've been doing music now for a few years. It's been successful now internationally, I would say, for over 2 years. And yeah, so now I'm doing this.
When did you notice this first step up, from just being maybe side hustle DJ to going full? How did you face that in order to take that decision? Did Robin had a lot of impact on that, or did he not? But yeah, just let us know how is this growth managed.
Yeah, it was actually a decision I've made when I was, I think, 24 years old, which is now 3-4 years ago. To be a little bit more historically about my life, musically wise, my city was always a little bit stubborn in changing the way music is being played. It's always the old structures that worked for multiple years, so they stayed the way they were. And I wanted to break out of this pattern because I was okay, I want to do harder music, because back then harder music was already in the range of 135 BPM. And I wanted to do it to push it to push it further. We were speaking here of the area of drum code, 5-6 years ago, something like that. Okay, and then I was okay, no, I'm not gonna do this, even if I'm gonna sacrifice my local career. Okay, I will do it, never intending actually to play internationally. Okay, because when you're a musician, you're not having the goal to make this a full-time living. You're just doing it because you love music. You're going slowly into this path, actually. And yeah, and then actually my own narcissistic personality made me think, okay, I can do this better than the DJs here in my town. And the exact same perception is when I heard tracks. I was hey, maybe I can do this. Actually, I think I could do this better. So I started producing, okay?
Do you usually play another instrument, or you just start producing tracks from nowhere, no musical background before besides DJing?
When I was young, I played guitar for a few years. Okay. But actually, I was never capable of telling you which note I'm playing. I had a visual perception of what the notes were, and so I played a little bit of guitar, but I stopped it pretty fast afterwards. And yeah, I started producing, and then I had some releases, and people were getting more to know me, and then 9x9 came somewhere along the way and asked me for my first EP.
Yeah, they are supporting a lot of new artists. They get committed to the career not only through releasing tracks, but also giving them some first big international gigs. You did one in the US with them, right?
It was correct? In Detroit, yeah. It was at the Movement Detroit Festival, actually, which is crazy to think at which point I am or was back then in my career, which is 1 year ago. I was in May, and I was playing at the birthplace of techno. Wow. With 26 years old, 1 year basically on the international platform of techno music, and I'm playing at one of the most it's the most renowned festival, one of the most in the USA. It was crazy feeling to me.
Amazing, man. But yeah, let's go a little bit back to the human side. And how does a management figure like Robin help you to get the extra confidence to dedicate yourself strictly to these gigs? Because I guess there's sort of a breakthrough where you decide moving from doing this side hustle to just bringing that to a full-time job. I remember that conversation when we were having lunch during the summer week, Robin.
Yeah.
That he was like, November I will quit my job, and you were always there for him. So how do managers impact? Which are the main impact that managers give artists and campaign them through their career, and these small decisions that will almost guide your life for at least a while?
You want to tell from your perspective first, maybe?
I mean, first of all, the thing what a manager does is scouting two artists, and I think here Michi scouted me. I think we had a conversation that first popped up from your side or something.
Yes, because 9x9 actually recommended you.
Right, okay.
It was Carlo telling me Robin is doing good work in Belgium and around that area.
And back then it was Elevenfive, because in the introduction I told you about Elevenfive, which is a talent agency based on talents only.
I want to go back to this to make the difference between agency and talent agency and management, because that's a...
Yeah, and then we started to work with Michi, and I mean, basically you start building... I mean, everything is about confidence on both sides. So because the confidence needs to grow on the artist side, which is mostly getting bookings and getting better bookings in time being. And it's also for the manager or the booker on my side. It's also about confidence, because if we see the bookings are getting better, we can push to maybe higher profile gigs and maybe higher fees and maybe higher slots and also these kind of things. Because if we don't have the confidence on our side, you feel the confidence in an email, and basically when you feel you can go balls deep, and say like this is gonna be the slot, or otherwise we're gonna pull out of it, and then you sometimes feel that the promoter really needs these kinds of profiles, and then you can go a bit deeper about a slot or a fee or anything around this.
Yeah, I would second this actually, because like, you know, we had like, I was at the cinema, and he's telling me, I'm having maybe like a good gig for you, and he was giving me like a lineup which was like S++ in Paris lineup, you know, and my name was in between, and it was like a fee, which was a fee I would obviously take as a newcomer, you know, and he's like, I'm gonna say no. I was panicking. I was sweating bullets in the cinema. I couldn't focus anymore because I didn't have internet in the cinema. I was telling like to my friend, guys, I'm going like to the toilet. I need to pee again. And I'm just writing, Robin, bro, please, are you crazy? Are you mad? And this is how he builds confidence on me, actually by throwing me into the waters, you know?
Of course.
And then he's telling me, I actually remember this forever. He taught me saying no means also growing, you know? Because like sometimes you take the bet, and maybe it fails, but they're gonna coming back to you because they already have the interest in you, and then it's gonna be on the second time maybe they request, and it's gonna be confirmed.
I think it's a very good technique to measure like the real interest on the other side, right?
And that's the thing with the talent agency, which other bigger agencies might not do. That's open communication with the artist. So whatever I do with them is learning how the business works and giving the open communication. Also showing them, why are we saying no? Why are we saying yes? Why are we doubting it and asking more questions and going a bit deeper into the gig? Because obviously they're artists. The basic thing that they want to do is play. They don't care. They don't care if it's 1 or 3 at night. They just want to play because they see one of the artists that they're looking up for is playing 3 slots higher, and they're like, oh, I really want to be there. And that's where we jump in and we say, okay, but we can't because of A, B, and C. And if A and B are cleared, and also only C is there as a variable that we're not really satisfied with, but A and B is cleared, then we can move on. But if none of these topics that we find important are cleared, we cannot do the gig. And that's why saying no is growing, because you cannot lower yourself there if you want to grow. So sometimes it's taking a no to do another gig. And then we've seen that these promoters always come back at a certain point, maybe for the same gig even.
Yeah, because you managed to build that goal through other gigs, and then retake their interest on the long run. That shows that the strategy actually is working, right? When that happens,
it's for us. It's also like a deep dive because sometimes like I'm also in doubt, you know, like
Of course, you need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, going continuing with this, when you bet on a manager or an agency or you on an artist, which long term do you imagine the strategy? How much time do you really need to be aligned in time wise to to understand that the project
Yeah.
is worth?
If I can jump in on my side, it's on my side. That's the difference between the talent agency I have created, which is a unique thing that, in my opinion, I think doesn't exist in the world, because it's basically the worst business case in the world. And then you have the more profound, bigger agency where everybody grows to, or that's at least the point, and where more sustainable acts are. So starting with the talent agency, which now is Elevenfive, the rule that we build on is basically to scout pure talent that play, produce, and or at least have the vision to produce and want to learn, and we give them a year to make themselves relevant in their own scene. But relevant means getting some organic bookings from promoters.
Okay.
Not me pushing all
Yes.
my jokers and calls and all these things. So something organic needs to come in. And then basically, all social media and all the variables need to grow as well. Like at least double up on your current followings or something. So there needs to be some relevance after a year.
Okay.
So after 1 year, if that has been grown, we proceed for another year. And that second year, we need to get your fees around above €1,000.
Okay.
Artist fees, because I made a bit of a count with all the bookings I've did with some bigger ones, some smaller ones, and basically you need around 150 to €200 to get the ball running, to pay my hours. I have staff running. I have advancers now. I have advancers. I have an office. I have a car. We go to shows. Sometimes I travel, and all these costs combined is around €150 a booking. So everything below €1,000 then is a cost, a loss on my side. So I'm open to give my time to push on the profile, but if after 2 years you're not above €1,000, you're being a loss for 2 years already. So then we need to start looking at other things
options,
or stop the
collaboration.
The collaboration, sadly enough.
Yeah, but that still says a lot from you, because 2 years is a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, but sometimes it takes 2 years.
It makes sense strategy wise, but for people who are not in the industry, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Spending 2 years to bet on an artistic career, expecting a growth, because you're just expecting, that says a lot of the human side of the agency, which actually, I guess, 11.5 is what's pursuing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Because you build a relationship, and if after 2 years you need to end it with somebody that mostly is becoming a friend and family member kind of feeling, it's a bit harsh. But in the end, they're blocking potential new talent.
Correct.
So, yeah.
How do you see that on your side as an artist?
For me, beforehand, I contacted Robin. You know, I was actually like, I had no idea actually how the scene was working. You know, I was just a guy doing music in his bedroom, in his child bedroom back then in the days, you know. And then I was like, maybe I could do something, because this Heavy Machine EP went super viral from me. And, you know, I got interest, and, you know, and Verknipt wanted to book me even without me having an agency, because Diane promoted my name to them. Back then when I was a little no one. And then I was like, maybe I should contact some guys, and then basically I contacted him, and after some time when I understood how the business was working, I was easy to handle. You know, I'm not someone that is always like insecure or something. I'm a confident guy on itself. You know, he didn't need to correct me very often. You know, from time to time, of course, it still happens, and I'm still like FOMOing sometimes out. You know, fear of missing out a few things.
Yeah.
But I think we're adding up each other's weaknesses very, very well.
Yeah, Michi goes very deep into all of the details.
Okay.
So sometimes he's an asset that I miss in the office. I was like, you would be a good asset here, but we can't. I mean, it's impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah.
But sometimes he comes with topics that I was like, okay, that's interesting to know. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm telling him things like he was missing, and now he's connecting the dots, and
Yeah,
he's
and then-
making things,
okay.
and then he's making things possible. So we're really, really
Yeah.
combining
That's
our strengths and
super
weaknesses. Well.
cool to
Yeah.
have this artistic perspective on what's a purely very organized business. Sometimes this can give, as you show, gives a lot of insights, right? But when we're talking about the things to grow, we talk about economic wise, production wise, but you made a point with another variable that has now recently come and make a huge impact on any artistic career, which is social media, right? How do you feel about that? Do you think social media is hiding talents because they don't have this marketing knowledge, or they can't afford a marketer to market them in different towns? Or do you think it's a positive thing that has come and given more opportunities to a lot of people? I think it has, in my point of view, it has both sides.
I think it has both sides, because on one side it's hiding potential talent that doesn't have the budget to promote themselves, basically. But on the other side, it can also put some artists that do have the budget or have the background on some things to over push them on social media when the numbers are getting higher, but maybe the vibe and the reality is not that high. So it goes both ways, I think.
100%. And as an artist perspective, because I know before all this thing, it was about producing, DJing, delivering a proper show once you have the chance.
Yeah.
But now, I think a lot of the emergent artists need to know a little bit, at least a little bit of marketing if they don't have the funds to market themselves. How do you how has this changed for you, or what's the perspective?
My perspective on this topic is also it has two sides of the medal. You know, I would separate music in two parts. One, music as an art, of course, because I'm an artist, you know, so I always have also the music as an art form in perspective, and music as an economic ground, where you can accumulate financial aspects and offerings and whatever, you know. I think currently, especially the hard techno scene, but also let's also say the hard groove scene, you know, like brands are emerging and constituting like structures that are long-term financially prosper, you know. It gives us a lot of money, and this is relying solely on that cause that we are like a social media community, you know. I, for my part, can only speak it like this way, in this way that I think a mixture between both is the only real way to go as an artist.
Currently,
Be a musician in first place and be a social media character also. I had to learn it also. This was also one of our very first talks we had.
Chat number, I think,
Three.
number 10 or so.
Yeah, because
like we need to focus. We really need to focus on
Yeah,
that.
because at that point in his career, he was getting somewhere, but there was no real, like, very specific profile. The music had a profile.
Yeah.
The music had a signature. That was there. But the profile around who is B2, what is B2,
Yeah.
what do you want to bring, that was really not there. And that's the first thing you need to get out there, because maybe it's somewhere inside of you. You need to discover it yet, because maybe you didn't play as much as shows as you wanted to have. But during the shows that are coming up, create something around you that pops
sort
you
of
up.
artistic alter ego, right?
No, not an alter ego. The artistic signature, who you are, and maybe it comes from your fan base, that they see you doing something, or and something, or your personality that pops up, and use that and enlighten this a bit and put the spotlight on it. So don't create something to create, because that's gonna be fake as shit.
Okay.
but enlighten something, put a spotlight on
already
something
there.
that you already are, but make it a bit bigger to promote it around you. So that's a
Okay.
bit the basic idea that we wanted to create from
Amazing.
the
And
beginning.
how did it go? Like, which aspect did you enlighten?
Like back then, you mean regarding the talk we had?
Yeah.
I mean, like that we were talking about the first aspects of our work together. And he was like, "Yeah, you gotta do a little bit of social media, and we gotta have like a tight schedule, and like posting every week to show who you are and your gigs and whatever." And I was telling him, "Hey, man, I don't know, man. I'm in first place. I'm a musician. That was literally my response. I'm in first place. I'm a musician. I'm not like a guy that is posing like very cool, even though like I have an appearance in real life, but I just don't like the social media stuff."
Yeah,
and
you're super expressive. I mean, you can feel it. You express yourself a lot. So.
Yeah. And this was actually the first change. He brought the first step into it, into my change of mind, into that. So, and he was solidly right. I understood it almost immediately. I agreed with him actually, and so that was the first step I had to make, because my I had tracks already on Spotify that had 300,000 plays, okay, and I had 3 posts on Instagram, which was and
literally
which one was of my dog, like
excellent for that.
I had I was highlighted in many spotlights, but I just didn't have a personal profile. So that was the first change I had to make, but I do not regret it, because at first I was a musician and then I become a public character.
Okay.
And I think this made me learn few things in life.
100%. It just takes you away some maybe insecurities, or not insecurities, but things that you try to hide, and at the end you don't really need to hide because people accept it and love it from your side.
Yeah,
it's what makes you special.
Yeah, and I'm also not relying my whole persona around being a musician and being a character of public interest. I was first a character and then I became a public persona.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. And now going a little bit back to TheCommon. Right, TheCommon is a movement born in Belgium.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
What can you tell the Barcelona audience about this project?
That's not even stuff I know. So.
Well, TheCommon was actually based because I started Elevenfive now 5 years ago during my marriage, and I told my wife just after we were married, like, okay, from now on we're gonna pursue the things we love and we want to do. And I wanted to do something in music. I was a promoter for some events in Compass Club in Ghent and a few others, but not that much. But I really like the things around music. Not to be a musician, because I basically never play, but the whole marketing and sales thing around this topic. And my wife wanted to be a hairdresser, salon thing, and holistic thing, and she has it now, and I have my agency now in the Common.
Amazing.
And when I had Elevenfive, I really wanted to do something else, because I had a few artists, but they weren't. I mean, I had 3 artists; they weren't really big. I was very much pushing it, but there wasn't really enough around to.
Which artists were there?
I started everything with Lucas Firtzer.
Okay.
Then I think I had some house artists as well in the beginning, which after a while I
You didn't match, right?
Yeah, I did match, but the thing was, and it was the same topic with TheCommon basically. The thing was, doing both sides eliminates 100% to 50 max.
Okay.
So the thing was, I couldn't put 100% on one genre, basically. So when I was doing the emails for my artists, like 2 house and 2 techno, I realized that I couldn't do the emails to all of them. I needed to divide these, so I had double the work. So I basically at that point told myself, okay, what do I love the most, and where do I see the market pushing to the next coming 5 years? So, and that was obviously techno at that phase. So then I said goodbye to the 2 other house DJs, which were friends basically, and I focused on the techno genre. So I had Lucas Firtzer, and then the one that came was Swart as well, who I'm still working on. Yeah. And so these were my 2 where I started everything with. And then I had TheCommon coming up because I worked in a club called Icon in Antwerp.
Okay.
And it's basically a bit of a posh bottle service, with the light works. And I was a VIP waiter there. So I was the main VIP waiter in the posh club, serving the bottles and serving, all the guys and the girls in these VIP stages. So when my agency was growing and I had the idea of TheCommon already, not TheCommon, but I had an idea to do a promoter thing myself. I stopped as a waiter in the club and I said goodbye to the owner. And the owner came to me like, hey, can you please maybe come as a promoter to this club? Because we used to have techno here, like Panpot played there once and these kind of things, but never really kicked off. And he was like, do you want to be a promoter here? And I was like, let me think about it. But then I came back like, I can be a promoter here because you've tried already a few times with the name and it didn't pop. So what I do want to do is I want to be a club inside the club with a completely new name, completely new vibe, and everything new. So that's why we created TheCommon in the smallest room of this club, because it also had full function 1 and it's really solid sound over there.
Okay.
And I was like, it's a 450 cap. Let me do it there because the sound is already good. 450,
Excellent.
yes. So the sound is good, the infrastructure is there. I don't need to do a lot. So basically what we did is hang a few chains, painted some things black that were pink and orange and stuff. So that's what we basically did. And the club was ready to open. So, and then we opened. I think the opening was with Swart and Hadon.
Okay.
At that point. And then we were planning along. And then Corona stroke. So
Fuck. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Was a
So then
nightmare.
Corona stroke, which was actually perfect for me because I had the time, because I was still very new in Elevenfive and in the whole agency, and I was still very new as a club owner. So I had the time to develop a lot of friends and communities and everything around. So I basically had 9 months free to chat with everybody in the whole
Start
community.
connecting at higher levels or at higher reach.
And
at
also
least.
travel a bit when you couldn't travel. Basically, I went to Berlin to a few
Yes, man, because you do a lot.
underground raves of other promoters, and basically we knew each other there. And there, these were the places in the backstage of these,
and
of these things that I created all the bookings for the new season.
but to me is very impressive in two aspects. One is when we started the log, we also started like being management with Pendex and another 2 artists, then promoting events.
I think it's around the same time.
More around that, then
Yeah.
doing the label, and to me it was like, man, I'm new here.
Yeah.
Like, how do I manage all of this at the same time? So at the end, my decision was what I do really enjoy is bringing events to people. That's what makes my top satisfaction, right? And then stick to Bendex because it was the profile I really trusted, and cut off the label. We had decent releases at the beginning, but it was, man, like
Too much.
Too much.
You're everywhere.
Too much.
Because then you come back to the 100%.
Yes.
You only have 100%.
Yeah.
If you do 5 things, it's 20, 20, 20, 20. Or 10, 30, 20, 10, something like this.
Yeah, but
you
you-
always need to divide 100%.
Yeah, but on the other side, you are like touring. When is with B2, with Dana Montana, with whoever you're touring. You're doing the scouting for, I guess, maybe new DJs that will join your talent agency. You are trying to connect, to push the DJs that are already with you, and then doing also TheCommon. Man, how the fuck do you manage all that?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning it was a lot because I don't know what a burnout feels, but I think I was very close at some point. So basically, it's because I was also working at a daytime shift as an IT consultant at a bank at that point. So it was
Imagine.
it was staying, getting up at 5, doing first emails until 7, going to work, coming back. I mean, I have a wife, I have a son,
Imagine.
cooking, and then after this, working until 12 to 1.
I feel you.
I mean, it's basically insane. So, but now when you've pushed through this, now I have a team. I think we have 4 staff working on all the projects together. So that's
Okay.
starting to, like last week, I signed the first paper of the first person on my payroll, like official
first
payroll. So these
official
things,
contract.
these things are our burden. You know that pull a lot of weight from your back. So.
What do you think was that decision that was really a game changer for all this situation? Or a couple of them. at
I
least.
think it's
Signing B2.
yeah. I think it's a lot of things coming together. I think one of the things pulls a bit harder, where you can risk more on the left side, or this brings more things to the table that can help growing the common, because the common wasn't profitable at any point in the beginning. So, but then you need something else that it's always with like filling the gap, filling the cylinders, you know. So.
Okay, yeah, amazing. And going back to the common, at what point did you decide that I have two main topics with this, because I've faced some issues like being a promoter and trying to manage other artists, because it's like, if you're doing events, why a lot of artists like request to be in that event, which makes sense, but always it cannot be, because I don't know, they are not that a big name in that city, and you still want to grow your brand, because at the end it will fit all the whole project. And exactly. How do you make them understand, or how do you feel when you are not in a common lineup, the common lineup, and maybe that weekend you don't have a gig? I mean, how do you manage those?
With my own artists, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the thing. In the beginning, I had a kind of a rule that I didn't want my artists more than once a year on my own brand, because I don't want to get the feeling of the outside world that's the reason of the common, you know, that shouldn't be the reason. I didn't want the reason to be that. Now I changed this from whenever we rebranded a bit, I've changed the rule a bit, putting you as a lot of
actually I told you about this to maybe a change.
So maybe because we seen that it was profitable on other brands doing this. So but it's just a thing. I didn't want the community to think that was the reason I'm doing the common, to push my own artist.
Okay.
That would be something that would really give me a heart pain.
100%.
So I'm doing basically the common because it was needed at some point. Like right before Corona, especially after Corona, teaching to new like young people, you know, like to new
and at that point in Belgium there was how many like proper techno clubs?
Yeah, you have Compass, which is an old one. Biggest. You have Club Vaag, but it's kind of small.
Okay.
Then you have Fuse, obviously.
But it's not Antwerp, right?
No, it's not Antwerp. In Antwerp, we had Club Vaag, and at that point we had Ampere Club.
Okay.
But Ampere was doing mostly the Romanian house scene, these kind of things.
But as you're saying there, those were clubs, like
I guess proper clubs,
programming in-house, I guess, most of the times, or with other promoters, but you feel that promoter gap.
Yeah,
that's
exactly, yeah. There was a big scene for techno to come up, for sure.
So you showed at some point that without being a club owner, you could still start running your own events in a genre that you really bet it will it will have,
because everybody felt that it was a new club, even though it was in an event space that was used to known as an urban club. It still felt as a new club. We had a small community so fast that people were coming every week and asking, because I only did it like 2 times a month to start off with, and people were asking in the empty weeks in our DMs, like, hey, are you open? Can you please open? We don't really care who comes. We just want to come.
I have there like an anecdote. Like we were playing in a rural area I was playing in a rural area in Belgium, which is called Hasselt. Okay, that was maybe like the 3rd time we met or so, right? And it was telling me, I don't know, like 150 people gonna be there. I'm coming in, 700 people or 1,000 people even were there. And Robin was also like,
because I know the place. It's more like an event space, not very known for techno. I think non-techno events ever happened there really.
Shit.
I even was there as a client on a Halloween fest like years ago, and that's why I told him, like, don't expect the biggest thing. I mean, it's good to have you here. We see each other, and we have a gig, you know, like it was big in the beginning, and I know we both stepped up the ladder, and I was like, what the fuck, what's going on here?
Yeah, and we were then back in the backstage, like coming back to the common, and there were some Belgian guys talking to us and whatever, and to him a little bit, and then he was saying, I'm also doing an event and I have a club, and they were saying, well, which club is it? The common, okay, and they were like, oh my god, they were giving him the hand. Best club, best club, best sound system, you know, and I didn't even realize back then who Robin really was, you know, like I told you I had no idea back then. I was green behind my ears yet, you know, and then you know, like you could really sense that people appreciated the common a lot, like in Belgium, you know.
So we started making this impact locally. and now you've started touring with TheCommon as a brand. What
Yeah.
are you trying to bring to the cities?
Yeah, basically we started touring because we lost our venue at a certain point because of let's keep it short with trust issues, and we lost our venue at some point, and basically then I was like, okay, let's start touring with the brand and let's see which cities where we can grow, and basically that's been, I mean, very pleasant, and to come into new cities. I mean, the first time people don't really come for your brand, obviously, but now in Tbilisi, for example, it's our third time
Already.
yeah, you start to see some movement, that people recognize it, that people respect it at some point, and that's really something nice to see. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because honestly, from the analog side, I mean, TheCommon, it was a brand I look up to. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I think in the early beginnings of Alog, it was one of the first like
Yeah, I think-
promoter brands
exactly.
I started knowing, because they were doing these first moves around harder techno,
Yeah.
and they were not as much as they are now as promoters. I mean,
And I think we did Vendex on the first big XL room as well.
yeah. Wasn't it there was Tam as well? Maybe that
I think it was a Sinoid one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
they-
This was really,
I remember
really.
also the
Yeah,
videos.
yeah. The
Because
videos
you
with
play
the
a few tracks
cage.
of mine on the I know that.
Adri is a huge supporter of your. Actually, the first time you played for us, it was like Adri Vendex.
Yeah, I know.
telling us like
I know.
you need to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Vendex, if you see this, I love you. I love you, hermano.
V2 is the sound you're seeking for, because when as a promoter, when the scene starts to be oversaturated, you try to start moving a little bit sideways,
Yeah.
so you can have not your own sound, because it's impossible if you don't have like a proper label behind. But yeah, you don't want to sound the same as other brands.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you realize that people who attend the events listen to maybe 10% of the music you listen to. So once you start getting like sort of sick of a genre, they still have like 1 year and a half or 2 years of like still
Yeah.
wanting to see all that. But yeah, I was in that position, and Vendex was like, yeah, V2, Amstra, Drag now, Constantino, like this sort of.
All amazing names, all amazing
I mean, that's-
producers with too little amount of hype. I'm telling you.
Right.
Because Amstra just released his EP. I'm telling you, it's one of the most beautiful EP I've heard in the last 2 years. Honestly, Amstra, amazing. Check it out.
So yeah, and going back to TheCommon, what's the like what's TheCommon bringing different to the scene?
I mean, the thing, we want to be more pure, and I think our lineup also brings it, that we're not always booking an A+ artist that is 100% selling the tickets. That's
For the
something
people who don't know what A+ is,
Yeah.
it's like
The big
great
ones.
ticket seller.
Yeah, the big ones, the
names.
obvious names that everyone is booking on big shows. So that's where I really want to step off for. So to teach, because you have to understand, after Corona, there are like two new, I can't come to the work, like young people, like
Generations,
exactly. So there are two new generations that came with no education at all, like zero.
Yeah.
They see TikTok and they think a track is hyped, and that's the thing, which is absolutely not. So that's the thing what we try to do like this, because I think our main audience will be 20 to 26
to 30 probably.
yeah. But that's the main thing. I mean I'm 36, I'm there as well, so but I mean, it's these two generations that we really want to educate with some fresh sound and some proper things.
100%. And in my point of view, it is really a good thing. This new people joining, even though if they come from the social media and these like short impacts. But the other thing you're losing, and it will be great to see in the next months or next years, is like going back to a little bit of longer sets, because like these new joiners are very used to immediate
Short,
things. Yeah, short, like drop.
The exact same feel as a release.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The exact same feeling. And switching your mind to, because I mean, and you can tell, I am 100% sure that most of the artists, when they are playing set, they try to bring a story to the audience. It's like not like constant energy, like we are done. No, it's like you're trying to express yourself. If you want to put the artistic sense of all this, if there's no message, difficultly it will become an art in an artistic perspective. But now it's very extremely difficult, because how can you tell a story in 1 hour and a half?
Yeah, I mean, me as
and
an
even an hour. I mean, we're going to the hardstyle vibe of when I was younger. We had these hardstyle slots, and it was always 1 hour. That's the basic. Yeah, that was the general one to do, and I mean,
it would be
I
one
think
of.
It's a matter of time that people start embracing these longer sets again. Now all night longs are working a lot. It's a shame that you only see all night longs of big names. But on the other side, I think it's just a matter of time that people start embracing this. But going back to you, Mitch, how do you manage these like shorter sets in order to still express yourself?
If it would be one of three things, I think it would be the change really of that I would be capable again of telling a story in my sets. That not the first track had to be already a huge banger that people start to scream. Okay. That would be like one big wish of mine. How it would change, like the change of the current scene. It's hard. It's really, really hard, because you're also thinking about content. You're also thinking about all the other environments, except for how to really properly construct a really great set, But as I told already before, like, it's gotta be 50-50. Somehow you have to put in your own identity into a set, and which I'm doing with melodic tracks, like I'm combining basically the modern hard techno that is right now in, and also like the melodic aspects from like a few years ago.
Okay.
Now with some current elements of Psy, because they also have a lot of melodic inputs also, which I like, and which were also my roots actually, So I'm trying to combine both worlds, where I started to love harder techno and what currently people love in techno, because I can understand music is always part of changes over time. Okay. And we need to adapt into some kind.
100%.
Yeah.
Or we can proceed. Yeah, it's a flow.
Yeah.
And I'm trying always to have some sort of note from myself always into my sets. It doesn't matter, like, even if let's talk about theoretically today. Only hardcore and hardstyle is gonna be in. I'm still gonna find some melodic tracks into it.
Yeah, but that perfectionism and that self-consciousness of your set and the situation is what really will help you to build this fan base that later on will start following, not only for the hype, but for your sound.
100%.
They will understand. They will. Someone will join. Someone will go. But you will have that solid people who is trying to understand where B2 is trying to bring them, right? But if you had to define the set of tonight in like 3 words or 3 main genres, which one would be? So people can understand and know a little bit what to expect.
Today, because of the playtime, I'm actually doing like some smaller also adjustments to my sets. I'm gonna play a little bit more experimental in terms of like some trippy elements, which gonna be pretty interesting for me also to see. I did last week also. I liked it. In between like the melodic aspects also, because it really complementary itself. And I would say it's gonna be a really good introduction into the night, even though I'm like the second spot, but people start to come even more, and
Yeah, I mean, I taking into account how people usually attend events, it will be pretty packed at that time already.
I think also.
And afterwards, Jan Berkoteren will be playing.
Yeah.
He's not here, unfortunately, because I guess he's
I think he's now waiting in the airport in Stuttgart after his snow holiday.
Oh, hey, so
he
that's
went
why
skiing.
that's why he couldn't join.
Yeah.
But as we have you here, Robin, just let us know a little bit of Jan Berkoteren. What will the Barcelona audience expect on his set?
Jan is one of these guys that can read a crowd, and he can feel what's needed at that point. And I think he's a very good transition from Michi to La Penderie Noire there. And also very, I mean, it's always a mix with some groove, but super hard and still groove. And You know,
just keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit of both. It's so I think it's a very good transition further in the night.
Is it his first time here in Barcelona?
No.
No, he played at Razzmatazz,
Yeah, he
right?
played at
With
Razzmatazz.
Rave Alert or
Yeah.
another event.
Yeah, probably Rave Alert. Yeah,
Probably. Okay.
but it's been a while.
It's
so
been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, at least a year. But I've got this
Yeah.
feeling that time goes faster than I really realized. To me, it has been a while, but
Absolutely.
it's still a year. And once, 2 times a year per artist, I think that's healthy.
Healthy, yeah,
for
for
the
sure. Yeah.
artistic
That's,
profile.
I think the rule, if you can, if you can name it like this, I think is 2 times in a club, maybe one extra for
A festival
off
or
week or
off
a
week.
festival or something like this. I think that's very healthy. I don't want to overconsume any region because it's not fair for the region, and I think it's not good for the artist as well, for the careers. So to
100%.
overconsume at least. So yeah.
I mean, it can go both sides. Either you shorten it a lot because you
Yeah.
lose your main market because you've oversaturated it.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you
and that's
build-
also to come back all the way to the beginning to the talent agency. That's also something we discussed in the beginning. Like, and I have with every artist I start with, talking about overconsuming a region. They're like, yeah, but it's in 4 weeks. It doesn't really matter, right? I want to play again. I was like, no, you can't. I mean, you need to stay out of a region for at least 2 months. That's healthy, at least. And they're like, yeah, but why? It's a good gig. And after a while, there comes an
make
offer.
sense.
3 months later, and then they're like, is this far enough? I'm in doubt. I'm like, yes. Now we're here. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
And then that's the progress you see.
Excellent. And going back to tonight's event, because
Yeah.
we are running a little bit out of time, and
Okay.
I would love to focus these last minutes of the conversation
Yeah.
on why did we decide this sort of lineup. Besides, B2 had a sold out event here in Barcelona with the Garage. I think Jan's event was also very successful
Yeah.
at Razzmatazz. Why this build up on the lineup?
I think it's the perfect build-up of a night. Instead of going super hard all the time, and pressing and going, this is the perfect example how a flow in a night can be. This is the example how a flow can go up, but other nights that we do around the world, we have a flow that goes up and down again. But then you basically need a bit longer set times that we currently cannot do here in Barcelona at this
100%.
point. But if you have a longer set time, I mean, a flow from something groovy to something really hard to something groovy, and even ending with some vibey disco could even work.
Could.
I mean, when the sun comes up and the disco vibes come on, that's for me the perfect lineup. But this is the perfect level up for me. I mean,
Coherent.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's excellent, because actually a lot of our crowd, like they like intense. They are this sort of
Yeah.
crowd that like to end the night like here
On a high.
and
Yeah.
afterwards decide if the after party is worth or not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they want to end up here, which it's like it goes with the Spanish
Exactly.
character. Like
So
it
the
really-
people can also leave the after party in the comments.
That's
Excellent. Yeah, and I think people will enjoy. For a lot of them, will be the first time in the Bass House. You haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet. It's
We're
like
super excited.
700 people capacity venue. It used to be like a filming studio. Like if you see it from the outside, it's like this sort of industrial building
Mm-hmm.
in an industrial area as well, with the terrace for the smoking people.
But that means the acoustic should be nice as well.
Acoustic
Yeah.
is very nice. They have delays, even if it's only 700 capacity room. They have delays all through the venue.
Okay.
So you get that pressure in the front. You get
and
another
back.
pressure on
In
the
the
side,
back.
and you don't lose sound quality in
Yeah.
any of the
Yeah,
points
yeah,
of
that's
the
cool.
of the venue.
amazing.
Also, the booth is only like 30 centimeters elevated.
Yeah, and,
so
it's a 360 around,
360
right?
becomes
Amazing.
very organic.
Amazing.
Yeah, because that's the
amazing.
thing with TheCommon. We always need the 360 vibe.
Excellent.
So that's the thing that we're doing from the beginning. Everybody needs to be around
But-
the DJ to get that familiar.
But everybody, not VIP backstage
No,
experience.
everybody's the
everybody,
same.
'cause
That's the thing, exactly.
We are exactly the same.
exactly.
Like a lot of people, like other club owners, ask us, like, but yeah, why don't you charge for being behind the DJ?
man.
no, man, this is not how it works. Like we want
You
people,
can keep your VIP.
Yeah, you can keep your VIP for your own things. But we don't want to charge any extra. Like this is for everyone.
I get anxiety thinking back of the VIP bottle, so
I just can't. Or even if there's not the VIP bottle, but just the fact of charging people or only having like sort of influential figures
and calling it backstage.
Bro, honestly, like
Scam.
I'm 100% sure. I don't want to do the calculations of how much money I'm losing on that thing, on that income. But I rather stick to values.
Exactly.
I rather stick to values.
100%.
When I started with techno, it was because of the vibe I found in these sort of events. I've listened to any sort of music, like from rock to reggaeton to wherever. And what made me the strict match with techno was the vibes I found there. So if I am a promoter, any place I am related to, I won't allow to have like this sort of only for VIP experience, VIP experiences. I guess with TheCommon we are the same.
That's why we're aligned.
we are aligned. So just to end this amazing chat, I think it has been super insightful from both sides. Like you mentioned now that you're here, like just tell the person why should they come early tonight to catch your set.
You should come because you have here one of the best promoters from Spain and one of the best promoters from Belgium. And this is alone a reason to come into this beautiful city today to party with us and have a great night, because Barcelona never disappoints by energy. Never.
Amazing. So now you know, do not disappoint Michi. You need to come early to the event. And Robin, like invite our audience to come tonight.
I mean, it's very obviously, if you look at the lineup, what we're bringing here, from B2 bringing his groove tonight, and obviously unreleased tracks from one to another, and then going further to the lineup with like Jan Verkouteren, which is, he also has a track ready, by the way. He's after a while he has a new track ready which he's gonna play as well, perhaps, so I'll push him to play
probably.
And then La Pindrinar going a bit harder again, and then I mean Phantasm is hyped as shit these days, so really happy for him to be here as well. I need to pick him up as well, so.
Okay.
So we'll get here, and I mean, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, musical progression, artistic level, like everything.
100%.
We are only like, I guess now probably like 80 tickets to sell out, something like that. So people like
so hurry.
Hurry
fast, be fast.
And now you know our faces, so just say hi if you see us around. We'll be super grateful to spend any moments with you guys.
100%.
And yeah, see you tonight.
Thank you. See you tonight, guys.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you also.
Thank you, man. Push it.